I'd like to move on to our second evaluator today, Fred Vornbrock, who will be evaluating JR's speech. Please help me welcome Fred.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and especially JR. JR, the topic that you selected was a very timely topic because there are a number of folks in the district who are working feverishly to get their DTMs. So by sharing some of the basic information as you did, it kind of helps get us all up to speed because as we discovered, there are some changes about the DTM requirement that most of us were unaware. So even those of us who've been around the block, shall we say, once or twice, this was very helpful. It was very insightful. I love the way you did your visuals. Once again, you're kind of leading the pack in showing us some new ways of doing things. Colors were wonderful. The particular backstings that you had for the topics were spot on. As you noted, there were a couple places where your persona kind of overtook the words, but minor detail that easily adjusted. I like the fact that you asked questions and then answered them. I like the fact that you discussed terms like STEM and then defined it, and then you described it. But what was particularly compelling to me and perhaps others was how you shared intimately why you are so driven to do this, why you're so driven to have this mindfulness paradigm in your presentations, whether as a Toastmaster, as a professor, as a member of our community. That was powerful. It really connected well with us. A couple of thoughts in terms of things we want to stretch you on. We need to continue to stretch your energy level and your excitement level. Pick up the pace. Let's hear some enthusiasm because you are very passionate about it. So a little energy or a little vocal variety, a little something would help convince us even more, if we needed it, that you are so excited and passionate about this topic. But again, well done. Nice setup for describing what your DTM project is. And we're all excited to hear how it goes here in a few weeks, few months. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Fred. Tom, would you like to go first with the round robin evaluation?
Definitely jogging even more memories for me, everybody here being of a technical bent for the most part. It is important that we do recognize these biases, and even way back in my undergrad days, people were talking about these types of biases then. One of the situation I was given was that one of our physics professors was a woman, and let's just say she didn't have the most pleasant of times working through her graduate and doctoral studies. And I've met very smart men, women, people from minorities, people who've lived here their entire lives, immigrants, non-immigrants. It is something that we all have to take into account, no matter what field we're in, whether it is the sciences, whether it is business, and so forth. The only thing I would really change is just watch when you talk about information technology and computer science, because they are not synonymous. Information technology is about getting business requirements all coming together and bringing all the technology together in order to satisfy them. Computer science is more about the mathematics, the algorithms, the memory use. That's just something that someone of a technical bent, and I didn't study computer science, I studied technical writing to make a little more clear. But that is all, and is a definite subject that we should all be more mindful of in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Joe, would you like to go next?
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. JP, right? JR, I found your talk very interesting, and congratulations on getting to this level and the challenge of getting the DTM in the news cycle. it's going to be interesting. I also found that it brought back a memory of my oldest daughter was going through school, and she was nearing the end of her first year of design school, and she was contemplating going for architecture. And the head of the architecture school said that no, he didn't think she had enough math background probably to do it. And then one of her friends who was also in the design school, a male, had the same kind of talk with the head of the architecture department, and his math scores and everything as we looked at them were actually less than hers, but he encouraged him to go on to be an architect, and he did. And my daughter, after going through the years of her school, got to the end of the fourth year and said, I could have easily done the architecture stuff. And she's married to an architecture stuff, works in an architecture firm, does architecture work. And I look at that, and we talk about the bias that man had, and that if he hadn't have done that, her career would be different, and where she'd be at today might be very, very different. And so it can make a big difference. And looking at your speech again, your head being in the middle of your slides, I think you did this before and you were off to the side once. I think that would be better. But you were in the middle of your slides, and it took away from, you had a lot of things that were 1, 2, 3, and we'd miss 2 a lot of times with that, and it distracted from your speech. I think you did great. The one thing I really like is when you ask questions, you pull the people in to get involved in your speech by asking them questions, and you gave the feedback from the chat, which was very good. That's very, I find that to be very good. Asking questions in your speech to get people involved. But other than that, I think sometimes you viewed off to the right, or is it the left, depending on the screen. I think you were looking at your computer or whatever. That's always a challenge in doing things, and especially when you're doing a presentation in a background. Outside of that, good luck, and I think you'll do great. And it's a great thing that you're doing with your project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Mike, your turn now.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. JR, first of all, what a noble project. So thank you for that. The more people we can keep in those STEM majors, the better we'll be. Some things I liked. At one point you said, oh, I see some people want to come into the meeting. I'm going to let them in. And so I just thought that was a nice little notification to the audience of what's going on, of why you're taking your eyes off the camera for a second. I like the thought of the DTM as the black belt of Toastmasters. So keep that one in mind. I think we can use that one in some marketing. When you said there are several reasons why someone might not continue in the STEM major, you said it could be preparation, it could be something other. First of all, you used a double rather than a triple, so 3 is always better than 2, and then it could be something else is rather vague. So in that case, I would recommend 3 specific things, such as it could be preparation, it could be not knowing how to study, it could be biases such as females aren't good at math. And I think those 3 would be more powerful. So I'm not sure I saw the complete connection between biases and mindfulness. So I did like your definition of mindfulness. I've been hearing a lot about mindfulness, and your definition of focusing on the present is the clearest and the best that I've heard. And just something from my own experience, I call it being in the zone when I'm at work. And I'm in the present and I don't even know it. Just lose track of time and everything else. And one thing I've noticed is some people like to interrupt me when I'm in the zone. So you might put that, when you see someone who's being mindful, let them be. So there should be some penalty for interrupting someone with their point. And I thought you might have a stronger ending. And what it might be is referring back to what your ultimate objective is of keeping more people in the STEM majors. So overall, very well done. Congratulations with your project. And one thing, I liked you in the center of the screen with this, with the things behind you. And you have enough room above you that I think if you just move your visuals up, that the things in the center will show above your head and it will be very effective. So I think if you set your visuals up well, that the technique you use would work very well. Madam General Evaluator.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Well, JR, as a female who was actually really good in math up until about 6th grade, and then somehow I was in a school where, small class I wasn't pushed. So when I got to high school, I was in advanced science and in regular math. And when I got to chemistry, that just like killed me because I was struggling with the math concept when I should have already known that. So yes, you've got another example here of the bias against females, especially when they're young. And I could have been an architect. So I like your visuals are always professional, but you did kind of miss it today with about 3 slides there where I was like, what is going on behind JR's head? So you might try, I just keeping things in the upper third, or doing, if you even like a semicircle around your head, on one of them. Just try different things so that you're not blocking what we need to see, because if somebody isn't listening real clear, or they just want that visual confirmation of what you're saying, we missed the middle one. Let's see. And okay, and I think that's all. I mean, but I really enjoyed it. It was interesting. STEM is very relevant, and this is something people need to hear. Oh, and the one slide I really liked was the one there where you had different people and the woman and stuff. So it's like, yeah, you have all different people and holding those signs, those labels that people put on them. That was very effective, in my opinion.